Good morning and welcome to the breakfast show on Radio Nigeria, Coal City 929 FM, Enugu. My name is Ekene Odigwe. Today on the 5th of March, we join the global community in reflecting on the International Day for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Awareness. Now, what that means is that it is a day set aside to remind us all that the spread of illegal weapons is not just a global security issue, but a local one that affects our streets, our homes, our societies, and our daily lives. Think about it. From armed robbery and kidnapping to communal clashes and urban violence, illegal arms continue to fuel fear and instability. While conversations often focus on the problem, today we are shifting that focus to solutions, practical actions that can actually reduce gun violence. And our guest is a public affairs commentator and a security analyst. He's also a journalist. A very good morning to you, Mr. Chijioke Attah, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for having me on this show, on this program this morning. Good morning, listeners. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss the International Day for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Awareness today. And of course, as you know, the topic for reflection is curbing illegal arms, solution that can reduce gun violence.
Mr. Attah, to set the tone for this conversation, why is the issue of illegal arms still such a major threat today, despite decades of global disarmament efforts led by bodies like the United Nations?
On the issue of illegal arms still such a major threat today, of course, is understandable. The conflict across nations, transnational and transborder conflicts have put arms into the hands of the citizenry, especially those that are not security agents. And this has become a source of threat to peace and security in various nations and communities worldwide. So it's so difficult now that we cannot really say the quantum of armament and arms in the hands of people illegally across nations. And of course, this has to do with the increasing conflict across borders, within countries, and the likes. So it is very, very difficult, to have this disarmament, a successful disarmament, as being canvassed by the United Nations, because most countries, I know especially in third world countries, it's difficult really to have a correct census of the arms in illegal hands.
Okay. Despite international treaties and security efforts, illegal arms are still widely available. From your perspective, why has the problem persisted, and what makes it so difficult to control?
Okay. Despite international treaties, illegal arms are still in the hands of people. If we bring it down home, you see that insecurity has been the bane of developmental strides of successive governments in the country since the era of Jonathan. And of course, you can appreciate why it has been like this. The deficit in policing and then the non-regulation of arms by people that are holding on to some of these illegal arms has made it possible for just anybody to have access to these dangerous arms that which are illegal, so to say. And that's why it's been difficult to come up with a comprehensive security architecture that will disarm some of these people that have had access to arms, illegally, so to say.
Let's look beyond statistics. Illegal arms have real human consequences. Question is, how does gun violence affect communities socially and economically, especially in vulnerable areas?
Okay, thank you. Beyond statistics, illegal arms have real human consequences. And of course, we are all living in a closed society, so to say. The technology has reduced the world to a global village. And of course, the very, very excruciating effects of these illegal arms is what we are facing now: food insecurity and the threat to the agricultural sector, which also affects the nation economically. People can't go to their farms for fear of attacks by these bandits and terrorists and the likes. And of course, what that means is that people now will now have to cluster in safe places without adequate social amenities and the attendant health and economic challenges. And of course, you know that most of these economic settlements are populated by vulnerable people, who are engaged in agriculture at subsistence level and sometimes for commercial purposes. So the real consequences and the effect, are felt more by these vulnerable people living in villages without adequate security.
We promised to talk solutions, so let's talk solutions. What practical and proven solutions can actually reduce the circulation of illegal arms and gun-related violence? Are there examples of approaches that combine security enforcement with social interventions?
Well, if you are talking about practical solutions to reduce the circulation of illegal arms, I think peace, and enduring peace, is the only thing that will bring about a reduction in the circulation of illegal arms. Peace in terms of creating job opportunities, getting the young ones engaged, because the youth, the most populated age bracket, are the ones that get into all this gun-related violence. And so to reduce the circulation of illegal arms, you have to provide an enduring peace, negotiated peace, through gainful employment for the youths, and also trying to shift them the attention from the get-rich-quick mania and the urge to belong. So I think the government has a lot to do, because the primary responsibility of government is to provide, to protect lives and properties of its citizenry. And any government that fails in this aspect of this responsibility is adjudged to have failed woefully. So to really curb these illegal arms and gun-related violence, the government has to up the ante and do the needful. And I can give you an example: the Niger Delta issue and the negotiated resettlement of the violent youths. During the regime of Musa Shehu Yar'Adua, he was able to negotiate peace with the Niger Delta militants, where they were able to surrender their arms. And you notice that a large cache of arms, recovered during that period was quite humongous. And in return, some of them were flown abroad to go and engage in training in various arts and trades and disciplines. And that's one area of social intervention that could, help in reducing the circulation of illegal arms and gun-related violence in the society.
Okay. If you're just joining us on Radio Nigeria, Coal City 929 FM, this is Breakfast Show, and we are talking about curbing illegal arms, solutions that can reduce gun violence, with our guest, Mr. Chijioke Attah. He is a journalist, public affairs commentator, and a security analyst. Do also remember that you can join us on coalcityfm929.net.ng. Back to you, Mr. Attah. What responsibilities do governments and security agencies have in strengthening arms control, border management, and accountability to ensure illegal weapons don't spread?
Well, the responsibilities the government have in strengthening arms control is to police the border as well. If you look at the trend since the Sahel region uprising and from Libya to Sudan, Darfur, to Burkina Faso, and the rest of them that were engaged in all these fracas and Rwanda and all that, you find out that a lot of proliferation of a lot of arms, got into the wrong hands, and to ensure that government does the right thing, there should be strong border management and control. Because some of these illegal arms are smuggled into the countries through illegal routes, through the air, sea, land borders that are porous and all that. So if the government ups the ante, like I said earlier, and all the security architecture, live up to their responsibility, they should be able to figure out and man the borders of these countries to ensure that some of these illegal arms, do not get into their countries, which they use for such illegal activities and threaten the peace and security of the nation.
However, security is not the job of the government alone. How can communities, traditional rulers, and civil society organizations contribute meaningfully to disarmament efforts?
Okay, so security is not the job of the government alone. Security is everybody's business. But then, where the security architecture is inadequate, what happens? Like in Nigeria, where the police ratio to the population is about 1 policeman to 10,000 persons or thereabout. How do you explain that one person could effectively police such a large number of people? So I think this recent agitation for state police is timely. Because once the state police is approved and the states can have their police, the response time will be reduced, because we can't be like somewhere in a Maiduguri and there is a crime and you're looking up to Abuja for intervention, or you'll be in Enugu, and then if there are issues, then you wait until you get orders from Abuja before you respond. So if the federal government could decentralize the police force and recruitment and approve the establishment of state police, I think it will go a long way. Just like we will have the vigilantes. There are so many quasi security outfits like the vigilantes, the forest guards, the forest security service, the Motekons, what do they call the other one in Anambra State? So you see, some of these security outfits, they may be legally sanctioned by the various state governments, but then how trained are those people, to handle sophisticated arms? And that's why we'll be having the cry and agitations about these people overstepping their bounds, misusing and intimidating people, and being used for political purposes. So I think it is easier when this security architecture is taken down to the various communities where everybody knows everybody, so that when strange faces are seen within the community leaders, should be able to identify such miscreants and nip the activities in the bud timely.
And to you, as a journalist, how important is responsible media coverage in shaping public understanding of gun violence? And how can the media support peace and prevention rather than fear?
Yeah, as a journalist, it is the responsibility of the media to set agenda. And setting agenda means bringing to the front burner issues bothering the society. And I think the Nigerian media has not been doing badly in terms of coverage and in terms of shaping understanding of the security issues, across the country and beyond. Because it's not enough to report. After the reportage, then what happens next? Are the security agencies well equipped to respond, to be proactive, to deal with the issues? You find out that in our own climb, the security outfits have this habit of trying to underreport casualty figures, which is very, very wrong. But then, the investigative journalists have always tried to go beyond or go the extra mile to get to the root of some of these security challenges and security issues by reporting the exact casualty figures, which will also propel the government, to know exactly that the people are aware of what is happening, within their space. Thanks to the emergence of social media that one can use now to report real-time online developments in terms of security breaches and things like that. So I think the media has been doing a great job. It's been doing a great job. But then the security outfits, I think they've been overwhelmed sometimes because they are ill-equipped, they are ill-remunerated, and things like that. So I think it behoves on the government to look into probably the enlisting of more security men, equipping them properly, and then remunerating them very well, because that is the motivator. Once they know that they are well remunerated and their welfare is being taken care of, then they will be motivated to do their work very well.
Meanwhile, young people are often caught in the middle, either as victims or as recruits into armed crime. What preventative measures can protect young people and offer them alternatives?
Yeah, young people are often caught in the middle as victims or as recruits into armed crime. Yes, that is understandable. Because, crime, the crime is one of the shortest cuts to wealth, so to say. So people engage in all manner of crimes, maybe not violent, sometimes they go as well as committing heinous crimes in their bid to make it big. And this is a societal problem that we need to address. Our value system has been challenged over the years, that people no longer ask questions what one does to make money. We look at people who throw money around, who drive in posh cars without any sustainable source of income, and we hail them, we give them chieftaincy titles, we honor them, we run around them. So naturally, young people, nobody wants to be left behind. So most of these young people are caught in the middle, as victims, as recruits into armed crime. And that's why it's been difficult, even with the death penalty for, such heinous crimes as armed robbery and murder and all that. Still, it has not deterred people from getting into such criminalities. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the preventive measures, to keep youth out of this proliferation of arms, I think is by creating job opportunities for young people. At least that will engage them positively and keep them off crime. Giving them a good job opportunity and incentives that will keep them engaged and they take their minds and their youthful energy away from crime. So I think the preventive measure should really be to, get these young people engaged positively. And I don't think anybody that is earning a living from a genuine job or business or trade would want to get into crime, knowing that one day, his life is a 50-50 chance. So I think that could help. It will go a long way. You see that people are no longer going to the farms. Even if the government of the day is serious with agriculture, we have arable land, vast farmland that people can't access again because of insecurity, because of terrorism and banditry and the rest of them. So if we have farm settlements where people, mechanized farm settlements, young people will go there. It will provide them access to food to eat. At least you will be sure that your food will be guaranteed 3 square meals. Then you have the surplus to sell and make a living, because agriculture is the in thing now, is the gold mine now. So I think if government starts looking in these directions, I think it will go a long way, in curbing armed proliferation, and keeping the young people, the youths, out of crime and criminality.
As we reflect on the International Day for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation Awareness, what single action do you believe would make the greatest difference in reducing gun violence?
Okay, as we reflect on this International Day, what will really make the greatest difference in reducing gun violence is, like I said earlier, ensuring equity, justice, and peace. If we're able to strike a balance on how to maintain peace between each other, between nations, between communities, invariably there won't be need for gun violence, there won't be need for crisis, there won't be need for conflicts and all that. So I think that as we mark this International Day for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation, government should do more in terms of creating the enabling environment for people, to do businesses, live their lives without molestation, without fear of terrorist attacks, without fear of kidnappers, without fear of armed robbery, without fear of, all these gun-wielding bandits and criminals that are marauding and harassing and terrorizing people up and down in the country. So I think if we create that environment where businesses thrive, people don't have to live in fear, then I think the disarmament and the non-proliferation awareness would have achieved a milestone in the country and beyond. Thank you once again for having me to discuss this all-important topic, and I hope those that are responsible for maintaining an enduring and a lasting peace will do the needful to make the world a better place. Thank you and God bless.
Mr. Chijioke Attah, thank you for your insights and helping us move the conversation beyond awareness to action. To our listener, curbing illegal arms is a shared responsibility. Peace begins when awareness turns into collective commitment. Until next time, stay safe. And that has been Breakfast Show on Coal City FM 929 Radio Nigeria Enugu. Producer has been Jude Owu. Supervisor is the General Manager Coal City 929 FM, Kate Nebo. The executive producer is the Zonal Director FRCN Enugu, Dr. Ike Chukwueze, and my name is Ekene Odigwe. Thank you for listening. Have a good one and stay safe.